Well, hello. Hello, hello, hello. There's Jody. I am here. Can you see me? Loud and clear. I can see you. What do we got here? Mic's on? Yes. Good. Here we are. I think we're all good to go. What do you guys think? If you're asking me, that's what it seems like to me. How's things? How's your week been? Unfolding the way it should be, hopefully. There's Shane Plaquin. That's all that really matters to me. Yeah, all right. There we go. Just making sure I got my camera set up. There's Barb. All right. Cheers, guys. It's nice to see you. Yeah, okay. So we're loud and clear. Jenny O, can you hear me loud and clear? All right. That's all that matters to me is that Jenny O's tuning in. Well, it also would help if you guys were tuned in as well. Anyway, welcome to the Revisited series, episode 3, Simplify. There's Dean. Dean, how are you, man? What's going on? What gives? Always nice to see you. Well, there's Elijah. Nice to see you, buddy. Yeah, man. Simplify. So we recorded the album. You've probably heard me tell this story before, but and if you haven't, or for those of you who haven't, I will tell it again. I started this. Simplify was recorded, or a song and dance band was written. Recorded in April of 1997, and we had block booked, a couple of weeks of studio time here at Beta Sound just over on 109th Street, just a little north of McEwen there on the way to on the way to Kingsway. I don't think it's there anymore. Anyway, we recorded that album. We recorded the Song and Dance Man album there. And we had block booked a couple weeks of studio time, a week to record, a week to mix, that kind of thing. Anyway, after the album was all said and done, we still had 2 days of studio time booked. And so rather than get a refund or anything like that, we thought, I came up with the harebrained idea that, hello, Mike Baker. I came up with the harebrained idea that maybe I was quite sure. Jenny, everything okay? Yes. I was quite sure that we could record an album in 2 days. Record an album in 1 day and then mix it the second day. So the bet was on. I bet our managers, Alex DeCarche and Johnny Mack, I think we bet them like a steak dinner at the Keg or something like that. And I knew by that point, by the time we got around to recording the Song and Dance Man record, like every third or fourth song I wrote was really heavily influenced in the folk world, like the John Prine, Bob Dylan, Townes Van Zandt, Guy Clark world of things. Just the singer-songwriter world. James McMurtry, John Mellencamp, Springsteen's Nebraska. These are all just amazing albums that you should check out. Springsteen's Nebraska, James McMurtry's Too Long in the Wasteland, and Candyland, and Where'd You Hide the Body. That trilogy by McMurtry are just staggering. All of his albums are great, but anyway. So every third or fourth song I wrote really had a pretty heavy folk leaning. So I had a bit of a catalog of songs that we didn't record for the Song and Dance Man record, and that I knew would work quite well in the folk setting. So I said, hey, I bet you a steak dinner at the Keg that the guys and I can record an album in an afternoon, mix it the next day. And as luck would have it, we did. We set up around noon on May 12th, 1997 at Beta Sound. We just set up in a circle with a couple of acoustic guitars, brushes on the snare drum, kick snare with brushes, and bass, and that was it. We went back and overdubbed some mandolin on one song, but that was it. Just on the first song, Greetings, there was mandolin layered on top of it, but the rest of it was just live off the floor. And I think the weekend before we recorded, we were doing a gig down in Canmore, and we had an afternoon show while we were there down at Sunshine. And as we were driving to the afternoon gig at Sunshine, I was behind the wheel, and the guys, Ernie was tapping on the dash with his brushes, and Derek was playing my mandolin, and Dave was playing his dobro, and we went over the songs that were going to be on the record. So Straight Back Home, Greetings, the songs that really featured heavily the guys in the band. So yeah, so we were off and running with that. So the first song, I have my guitar right here. In fact, the entire album was written and recorded on this guitar, which is a 1992 Jumbo Guild. Bought it at Long and McQuaid on 107th back in October of 1992 after having seen James McMurtry at a little club here in town, and he was playing a red Jumbo Guild, and I thought, I got to get me one of them there Jumbo Guilds. And so I stumbled onto one at Long and McQuaid, and I was off and running. Murray Pigeon, nice to see you, buddy. Hey, congrats on your Leafs win. Oh, wait a minute, they didn't win the game. Sorry, buddy. I figured they were gonna figure a way to win that one tonight, but the Oilers managed to pull that one off. But they're back at it on Friday. But so the first song on this record, sorry gang, I'm kind of off on a bit of a tangent here, but the first song on the record is a song called Greetings, and this is I wrote this in March of 1996. The second album, Jump Back Kerouac, was released in February of 1996, and within about a month, all the plans that we had made for the Kerouac record had crumbled away, which is kind of the story of my life. It seems released a lot of albums, and just to have the whole thing go down the toilet within a month or 6 weeks. So the Kerouac record kind of, we fell into just the whole band fell into some hard times. Just working with, the classic rock and roll stories, dealing with somebody who wanted to be a manager and maybe he shouldn't have been a manager, but all that kind of stuff. And I wanted nothing more than to just be able to sing and write songs and tour. I didn't want to have to deal with any of the business side. So the first guy who came along and offered to do that for me, I handed him the reins, and didn't quite work out that way. In fact, this was the second guy who came along who I handed the reins to. But anyway, Kerouac came out in February. By mid-March, we had determined that it was going to be tougher to get this thing off the ground than we had assumed it would. And this is probably the first. It wouldn't be the first song I wrote for this record. That happened much earlier. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling here, and I got to get back to work here. Sorry, gang. But this is Greetings. Wrote it in March of 1996. Had the presence of mind. I wrote the first verse really quick, and then realized that there was nothing more I could say to that song. I tried to write other verses, and I said everything I needed to say in those 4 or 5 lines. So here's Greetings, and then I'll come back on the other side and to tell you about Straight Back Home. All right. Hello, it's me. Why I'm a voice from your past. Can you tell me why, how long has it been since we last spoke? Oh, our paths they did cross, yeah, for words, you know, I guess I'm at a loss. That was it. That is Greetings. And I think that would be a, I couldn't think of a better way to start the album. And yeah, so that was Greetings. And I remember the second time that we played in the Netherlands, which would have been May of 1998. The second time that we played there, the first time we were there was in December of 97, and that's where I smacked up a car and spent the night in jail. You may know that story. If you don't, I'll tell it to you later. But anyway, smacked up a car, spent the night in jail. But all that being said, we had a hell of a tour, and we were touring with a band called the Brandos, and we sold a ton of merchandise on that tour. Just every T-shirt we brought. And every CD, I think we sold like 400 CDs in the first 4 or 5 shows. It was crazy, the amount of merchandise we were moving. And so, yeah, that was it. That was the tour. And we went back in May of 1998. And what I remember the most, the first show, which I don't remember what it was, but we went, it was obviously somewhere in the Netherlands, but the first show we show up around 3 or 4 in the afternoon and do sound check. And this is our own tour. We're not touring with the Brandos. We're not touring with any other band. We're just doing this tour on our own. And we do sound check. Everything sounds good. It's a cool club. Not a soul in there. We finish sound check. We go for a bite to eat, putter around town for an hour or so. We show up back at the venue around 8 o'clock, and the place is like full. And I'm thinking maybe it's like a wing night or something, or some sort of special, some drink specials, and maybe there was. But sorry. But we show up and we walk up on the stage, and we decide. I know I quite often say we open with Girl in Green, but on this particular night, we decided to kick off the show with Greetings, Straight Back Home. And so I did this. When I leaned forward into the microphone to start singing, I went, and they all sang the song. The entire crowd sang, "Hello, it's me, a voice from your past. Can you tell me why, how long has it been?" And I thought I was gonna die. I couldn't believe, and needless to say, that was that kicked off a hell of a show and a hell of a tour. And the entire tour, we did 16 shows in 14 nights, in 16 cities. So on both Saturdays, we did a matinee show in one town. We would do a matinee show, finish the gig, and we would do like a 3-hour purge. We'd finish the show, and then we'd drive 3 hours across the country and play another show that night. And everybody who was at the show on Saturday afternoon drove across the country to see the show that evening. But we did 16 shows in 14 nights in 16 cities. And it was crazy. It was so fun. And that was the first of a lot of cool tours that we did. And we will be going back for those of you over there in the Netherlands, over there in Holland, Belgium, Germany, Denmark, Sweden. We will be back. Mark my words. Anyway, so the next song is a song called Straight Back Home. I wrote this song in May of 1996 up in Fort McMurray. I wrote a lot of songs in Fort McMurray now, back in those days, it seemed. But I wrote this song, and I was on a pretty serious Graham Parsons kick when I wrote that. The lyric, Straight Back Home to You, I think I stole directly from a Graham Parsons song. 20,000 miles I went down, 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 but they all led me straight back home to you. Won't you scratch my itch, Miss Annie Rich? Yeah, so I thought, I like that title, Straight Back Home. I'm going to write that song. So, and I wanted to write something bluegrassy, something like, something at that point, 1996, Steve Earle's I Feel All Right album would have just come out. And the record before that was Train A-Comin'. And so I wanted to write a song like, there's a train a-comin', there's a train a-comin', just a sort of a real bluegrassy humalaka, boot to the boards kind of song. So here is Straight Back Home. It's another day, try to find my way out of town. Yeah, well, I only make it to the city limit sign. Yeah, the old emotional rope, it starts to bind. Well, it don't matter where I go, I'll always come straight back home to you. Yeah, we met somewhere, someplace, somehow, sometime. Yeah, well, we swore our love underneath the stars. To Saskatoon and back was never quite as far. Well, it don't matter where I go, I'll always come straight back home to you. Yep, heading straight back home. Yeah, well, we'll return to my love again. Yeah, straight back home. Ooh, well, we'll return on them rising winds to see you again, yeah. Yeah, well, we'll return to my love again, yeah, heading straight back home. Ooh, well, we'll return on them rising winds just to see you again. I gotta see you again. Yeah, the sun goes down and the lights, they come up all over town. Yeah, well, now as I wonder where you are tonight, somehow, some way I think I might. Well, it don't matter where I go, I'll always come straight back home to you. Yeah, well, as I wonder where you are tonight, yeah, somehow, some way I think I might. Well, it don't matter where I go, I'm always gonna come and do straight back home to you. Straight home to you, baby. Straight Back Home, baby. Yeah, man. Yeah. Always a fun song, a great opener. Quite often it will be the other song to open a show, Greeting Straight Back Home, instead of Girl in Green. But yeah, fun song for sure. Next song is The Back of My Hand. It's one of the songs that still appears in many a show. It's one of those songs. It has aged very well. I started writing this. It was one of the first 3 or 4 songs that I wrote when I first moved to Dallas, Texas, in February of 1993. First song I wrote was El Dorado and the 1215. And then the next song I wrote or started, I finished El Dorado. Finished them all around the same time, kind of started them all around the same time too, but started El Dorado. That was the first song I wrote when I got there. Next song I wrote after I arrived in Dallas would have been Back on My Feet from the Jump Back Kerouac record. And then another song would have been The Back of My Hand. There was a book by Larry McMurtry called, I think it was called The Evening Star. And on the hardcover of it, on the cover, there was a picture of like a diner on a highway, like up on the interstate. And I'd have to look at that cover again, but in my mind's eye, the diner was called the Hungry Hog. But that is certainly the type of diner that I could see that this girl was working in. Yeah, so that's just what it is. I wanted to write a story song more than anything. I always want to write. Who doesn't want to write a story song, really? But I really wanted to write a story song in that kind of vein. That really singer-songwriter, finger-picking kind of song. And the opening lyric would have been inspired by Hello in There by John Prine. He says, we had an apartment in the city. Me and Loretta liked living there. It's been years since the kids have grown. A life of our own. A life of their own left us alone. But so, yeah, the lyric to Back of My Hand is, she's got a little apartment just out of the city someplace. So it's the same kind of, I guess the word apartment and city, I stole those from John Prine, but it just kind of sets up a nice little story that you got to sort of, as the listener, figure out what the hell's going on, and as the writer had to figure out what the hell was going on. And this is someone who's just found a way to be happy. Found a way to be happy in the now, which is not as easy. As we all know, it's not nearly as easy as it one would hope. But she's found a way. Over the years, I've run into people like that. But it was would have been after I wrote The Back of My Hand. But and it's usually people working in like the graveyard shift somewhere, like at a 7-Eleven or a MAPCO or something like that. People who've I've met people like that, people working in diners who are just, they're just, you can just tell that they are at peace, and it is something to chase for sure. But anyway, so this is The Back of My Hand. I hope you like it. She got a little apartment just out of the city someplace. Yeah, she says sometimes as sure as the crow flies, I feel like I'm taking up space. But that don't bother me none, 'cause 'cause I'm sure I ain't the only one who's ever felt this way before. Well, she got herself a job out at the Hungry Hog on the interstate. Fresh ground coffee beans and black-eyed peas, serve 'em up to you on a plate. She'll clean up after you when you're done, but it don't bother her none. She's still smiling when you walk out the door. And she said, life, I knew it so well. At least I did when I was a kid, but now I just can't tell. I thought I knew it like the back of my hand, but now I finally understand. What you gotta do is be true to yourself. Well, she was married in July of '69 and ended 70 in divorce. Well, again in 73, man, it wasn't meant to be. She should have known better, of course. Now that kind of bothered her some. Well, look what her life had become. She could swear ain't no one been here before. Yeah, she lies awake at night, wrestling with wrong and right. Oh Lord, won't you please send mercy, please? Just a ray of sunshine, anything, hey, I don't mind. Just let me know you're there for me. Are you there for me? Well, now it's closing time. She turns around the sign and she locks the door. And as she heads home this evening, she gets that old lonesome feeling. It's life and nothing more. Someday Romeo will come. Until that day she'll carry on. Ain't nothing new when you've seen it all twice before. And she said, life, I knew it so well. At least I did when I was a kid, yeah, but now I just can't tell. I thought I knew it like the back of my hand, but now I finally understand. What you gotta do is be true to yourself. What you gotta do is be true to yourself. Through the eyes of a child you see somebody else. The back of my hand. I've talked a lot about that song certainly over the last 16, 17, 18 weeks with my Easy Like Sunday Morning show. But that was the first song, second song, I guess, when I was writing with Guy Clark, and we wrote The Best Job I Ever Had. Hey, Riley Dallaire, nice to see you, man. But I was writing with Guy Clark, and towards the end of the day, we just I can't even believe when I just telling the story sounds ridiculous, but we had been working on The Best Job I Ever Had all day long, and then at some point he's like, "Hey man, play me one of your songs. Play me a favorite song of yours. Play me a song that you're proud of." And so I played him If There Ever Was a Fool, which will be trotted out next Wednesday, for the Revisited series for Song and Dance Man. Song and Dance Man Revisited next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That song will be played there. But anyway, I played that song for Guy Clark, and he thought he liked it. And so I said, "Hey, could you play me like Desperados Waiting on a Train?" And he did, and we were sitting like this, like nose to nose, cigarette to cigarette, and he played me Desperados Waiting on a Train. And then he said, play me another one of yours, man. I said, sure, I would love to. So I played him that song, The Back of My Hand. And in the last verse, I sing, well, now it's closing time. She turns around the sign and she locks the door. And as she heads home this evening, she gets that lonesome feeling. It's life and nothing more. Someday her Romeo will come. And until that day, she'll carry on. Ain't nothing new when you've seen it all twice before. And I played that song and I rolled it out and I was very proud of it. And he's sitting there and he's smoking a cigarette and he's listening. And after I finished the song, he goes, hey man, can I make one suggestion? I said, yeah, what's that? And he goes, we know it's her Romeo. All you gotta just say, someday Romeo will come. We know it's her Romeo. You don't need that word her. And my mind was completely blown away at that point. I just couldn't believe the precision of that edit. Man, I mean that's like a brain surgeon to go in and make that kind of precise of a cut. Holy shit. But anyway, so ever since then I've always sung someday a Romeo will come. Someday Romeo will come. We know it's her Romeo. I thought that was so cool. Next song I wrote here. Let me just check something here, gang. Everybody doing okay? Everybody seems to be doing okay. There's Tom Cowan. Always nice to see my old buddy Tom. Indeed. I got fresh strings on this thing, and, well, it's not quite sitting as good as I would like it to. All right. And just as soon as I do that, I do this. To the drop D. This next song, called A Buck and a Half's Profit, was written up in Watson Lake, up in the Yukon, back in November, December of 1996. We were doing a 6-week stand there, and 6 weeks in one club. I mean, then once they got you there, you were socked in. So we played for 6 weeks, 6 nights a week, 4 sets a night. My hours got completely turned around there, and the hotel was pretty loud. It had its moments of just, there was a lot of just guys working. Rig workers up there, lots of truck drivers stopping in, on their way to Whitehorse and beyond. Once a week, I think it was, the judge and a bunch of lawyers would come to town for court cases, I guess, and so that was it. Anyway, they would just sort of take over the entire hotel. But the hallways were quite noisy on some of these occasions. Well, I think the reason they were noisy is because I was going to bed at 9 o'clock in the morning, sleeping till 6 o'clock in the evening. My hours got completely flipped around, and so there was always a rumbling in the hallway. And so one day, while messing around in a drop D, I started writing this song, and I wrote it pretty quick. It kind of came together quite quickly. I hear rumbling in the hallway. God, I wish that I was home. I've always done things my way, and that's the price I paid to roam. I ain't seen a familiar face since God only knows when. Take me to a time and place, I pray to God, amen. I spend my time with strangers who think that they know me. That's just one of the dangers when you live and die to be free. But out here on the outskirts, you'll never once have it made. Baby, that's a truth that hurts to admit to these rambling ways. So take me home. I swear this time I will stay. You take me home, and I'll shelve my rambling ways. Headlights coming towards me, they always look the same. Man, life out here just bores me, but if I could, I wouldn't change. But then again, in a heartbeat, I'd sell it all to be where you are. But $1.50's profit won't get me very far. So take me home. I swear this time I will stay. You take me home, and I'll shelve my rambling ways. I hear rumbling in the hallway, gotta wish it I was home. I've always done things my way, and that's the price you pay to roam. I ain't seen a familiar face since God only knows when. You take me to a time and place, I pray to God, amen. $1.50's profit, man. Yeah, Chris Plume says the longest 6 weeks ever. Well, if it wasn't the longest 6 weeks ever, you could see it from where we were standing, I'll tell you that. Yes, Chris and myself and Trevor Rockwell were up there for that 6-week jaunt. What had happened at that point? Derek and Dave, we didn't have any shows coming up at this point. This would have been in 1996, where there was a bit of a lull in the tour schedule. Derek and Dave were asked to play guitar, play guitar and bass. They were asked to play in a band for a little tour across Canada. So they went off on this tour, and about 48 hours after that tour started, this little 6-week run was offered up. And I don't know where the hell Ernie was either. But Chris and I went up there with Trevor Rockwell. Trevor Rockwell played bass, and my brother played drums, and we were a power trio of epic proportions. And we put on a bit of a drinking workshop there for 6 weeks. That is indeed the truth. I remember Chris he had I think every episode up to that point of Seinfeld on VHS tape, and he brought them all up, and we just sat around watching Seinfeld all the time. That was one thing we did with our time. I finished the song Girl in Green while I was up there. I finished Take Me With You while I was up there. I wrote Alcohol while we were there, and $1.50's profit. So it was a good. If all I got out of those 6 weeks were those 4 songs, that was pretty good. Girl in Green would have been started in the summer of '96, as was Take Me With You. Yeah, that's kind of that's what happened there. Good time though. I was trying to think. We left there, and it was like, man, it was some scary stuff. That highway out of there, the Alcan, the Alaska Highway. This friend of ours that we met there, he may even be on here tonight for all I know. I don't know. Pig Stand, what is it called? The Pig Stand Cafe. See, there you go. Well done, Justin. Well done with the cover. The Larry McMurtry book, Evening Star, Pig Stand. So I call it the Hungry Hog. So, Hungry Hog actually sings better than Pig Stand Cafe anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, but on our last night, and it was 63 below zero, our last night in town in the Northwest Territories. and it was December 21st. So needless to say, the shortest day of the year. So it had been dark all day long. I got up around 2:00 that afternoon, and we were excited to leave because we were leaving right after the show, and it was 63 below zero. So I started. This is not very environmentally friendly, but I started the van at 2:00 in the afternoon, and it ran until we got to Edmonton 24 hours later. More than that, because I think it took us 24 hours, 26 hours maybe to get back from from Watson Lake back to Edmonton. So we pulled out of town around 2:00 in the morning. I was not crazy to drive. Chris was not crazy to drive. Trevor was not going to be driving. So we were like, what are we going to do? And we became good pals with a guy named Carson Hall. And Carcinio Hall, I called him. But he was a hoot and a truck driver and crazy. And he's still a truck driver and he's still crazy. And he says, well, hell, I'll drive you guys down to Fort St. John. Like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, I don't mind. I'm not scared of these roads. So he gets behind the wheel of the van. I'm riding shotgun. Chris is the next bench back, and I think Trevor's the bench back behind that. And away we go off into this Arctic type night. And we drove through the night. And there was a couple times we came across like trucks on the side of the road who were putting chains on their tires. And it is against the law. If somebody's pulled over on the side of the road, it is against the law. It was against the law to not stop. So we did a lot of stopping on that evening. And Carson, man, he would get out there and he was dressed like it was May. You know, he was dressed like it was spring. And he would get out and he would help these guys throw chains on their tires, and then he would get back behind the wheel and we'd tear off into the night again. We roll into Fort St. John probably around noon, and we pull into this truck stop, and he goes, all right, guys, you good to go from here? We're like, yeah, I think I can take it from here. The roads had cleared up. The roads were paved. And he just walked out to the highway and stuck out his thumb and hitchhiked back to Watson Lake. That's a McMurtry character if ever I read one. That is a Larry McMurtry character right there. But he just walked out to the highway, stuck his thumb out. First truck that rolled by probably recognized him, pulled over. He hopped in and away he went. I couldn't believe it. It's still one of the probably still the ballsiest thing I've ever seen anybody do. I couldn't believe it. And then Chris and I drove for the next 14 hours back to Edmonton. Crazy. Anyway, next song. Oh boy. Sorry, I've been rambling here. I'm 3 songs in and we're 45 minutes into the show. I'll try to pick up my pace. Next song here is called Probably Me. I was listening, believe it or not, to the Beck's album Mellow Gold. And there's a song on that record called Pay No Mind. A song called Pay No Mind. And I just loved it, still love it. And I wanted to try to write a song like that. Again, I think you're probably starting to see a pattern. Every time I talk about a song that I was trying to, the song that inspired me to write a song, I said, I'm going to try to write a song like that. As you can tell, I miss the net every time, but that's okay. But this was the song. Was it you who said you'd leave the key under the welcome mat? Was it you who said you'd leave the light on for me? Was it you who said you'd be there no matter where I was at? Was it you? Oh baby, was it me? Was it you? Said something about the birds of a feather. Was it you who said that even a blind man could see? Was it you who said that we would always be together? Was it you? Oh baby, was it me? Was it you who said you were feeling restless? Was it you who said we found the door but now we've lost the key? Was it you who said you were all consumed with the second guess? If it wasn't you, well then I guess it was probably me. Yeah, man, probably me. Also a fun song to play. What do we got here? Who's tuning in? Tom Cowan. I just listened to that album yesterday. Well, thank you, Tom. What are the odds? Apparently pretty good. Next June will be the 25th anniversary of this album. So June 21st of 2022 will be the 25th anniversary. And Tom, mark that on your calendar because I will be releasing that on vinyl for that occasion. Yes, indeed. So stay tuned for that. Probably going to do Song and Dance Man as well for the 25th anniversary. But I am now on to my second cup of coffee. So, cheers. Everybody doing okay? I hope so. I am having a great time. Okay, next song. Next song is a song called, what is it? Let me see. I Just Don't Get It is what it's called. I'm not really sure. The most I can sort of, I remember when it was written, it would have been written in 1996, summer of 96, living at the Chernachan's house there on the south side of Edmonton. And I was trying to write, again, I was being heavily influenced by the Where'd You Hide the Body album by James McMurtry and Candyland as well. And this might actually be off the Candyland album, but the song is it called Melinda? I think. Open the Shades, Melinda. I think that's what it's called. Chris would know. Jeff Robson, there he is. Yeah, Song and Dance Man on vinyl. Take my money. You got a deal, man. Jeff Robinson. As I always say, Jeff, the fourth most beautiful name I've ever heard in my life. Right there, Jeff Robson. Take it in, folks. Take it in. Anyway, but here is the song called I Just Don't Get It. And it's just, I don't know. I like I said, wrote it in the summer of 96. And just kind of steamrolled through it, and it all made sense. Even though it's called I Just Don't Get It, it all made perfect sense. Melinda, yeah, there you go. Something been bothering me for a long old time. Took me a while to see what was on my mind. It wasn't so much what you said, more the way that you said it. Something must be wrong with my head, 'cause baby, I just don't get it. Yeah, I said, baby, I just don't get it. I keep tripping over my feet on the way to your door. No stranger to meet, singing praise the Lord. It wasn't so much what he said, more the way in which he said it. Something must be wrong with my head, 'cause baby, I just don't get it. Yeah, I said, baby, I just don't get it. Well, I swear that there is gold in them the hills. I swear that there's some way to feel fulfilled, but I just don't get it. I swear that there is gold in them the hills. I swear that there's some way to feel fulfilled, oh, but I just don't get it. The clock on my kitchen wall, I keep spinning out of time. It wouldn't bother me at all, no, babe, if I knew it wasn't mine. But it wasn't so much what that timepiece said, it was more the way in which I read it. 'Cause something must be wrong with my head, 'cause baby, I just don't get it. Yeah, I said, baby, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Said I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, I don't get it, babe. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Haven't played that song in a long time, man. Wow. I bet it's been 20 years, maybe even more than 20 years. I would think the last time we would have played that song would have been before Derek had to take some time off. So that would have been, he left in, he got off the road in April of 2000. So yeah, we probably played that song at that show, and that would have been the last time we would have played that. Okay, next song is just a silly little instrumental that the guys and I wrote. I don't know where, probably at a sound check somewhere, and it's called Inbreeder's Lament. And the whole joke behind the song is the song hasn't got any lyrics because your typical inbreeder doesn't have anything to say for himself. We did a video for this song. What's that? I always love that. What's that? That rumbling. Is that what that says? I can't even read. I can't read. My eyesight is hideous, apparently. Thank you very much, Glendane. I do appreciate it. Anastasios Basiliadis. There he is. That would be a fun one to play again, wouldn't it, Ernie? The next song is a little song we wrote called Inbreeder's Lament. It's just a little stupid little minute and a half song. And we would play it in the middle of the shows as a palate cleanser, and the place would go crazy. Again, another song we haven't played in 1,000 years. But it was fun. But what was even more fun is we did a video for that song. So if you get a chance to check out that video, you will watch that video and you will begin to wonder if everything was okay at home. You'll begin to wonder just how much of a left turn we took after our raisin. Oh yeah, the groove. Okay, now I get it. Sorry there, Glenn. But so this is Inbreeder's Lament. Just a silly song, tons of fun. Filmed a video for it down in Calgary, and check it out if you get a chance. Okay. Inbreeder's Lament. Ernie used to do, in the video, Ernie did this really crazy dance. And we would play shows where people would they would just wait for that song, and they would all rush out onto the dance floor and do that crazy crazy dance where I don't know how he didn't throw out his pelvis. Poor Ernie. We would just wind Ernie up and he would do it. Ernie, do this. Okay. Right, Ern? Remember those days? Those are some good times. Okay, next song is... This is the oldest song on the record. This song was written in October of 1990. It was written in October of 1990, right after I had returned from my little songwriting trip to Los Angeles. I don't know if you read that story or not, but there was my first trip to L.A. I went to a songwriting conference, and hilarity ensued, I should say. That's where I tried to cross the border with my driver's license and a Blockbuster video card. But I finally got back from that trip. I had a gig in Barhead that week, and this is where I wrote that song. It was late October, early November by that point, and we were getting the first snowfall of the year. And I just remember the weatherman saying that. And then, so I started writing this little story song again. And then in the song, I sing about this girl named Daisy who works at the corner store just up the block. I never knew anybody named Daisy who worked at the corner store up the block, but I used to work at the corner store up the block in Moncton, New Brunswick, right? Our last 6 months in Moncton before we moved to Bonnyville. I worked at in New Brunswick, it's called a Green Gables, which is, like a Mapco or a 7-Eleven or a Circle K or any one of those kind of things. But I worked the graveyard shift. And there was a girl who I went to school with who would always come by around 3 in the morning, and she would just after the bar crowd had sort of made their way. I was in 11th grade at this point, working the graveyard shift. Now I only worked Friday nights and Saturday nights, so certainly cut into my social life. But she would, at 3 o'clock in the morning after some house party that she was at, she would always, come in and just hang around and smoke cigarettes and talk about this buddy of mine who she had a crush on. And I would just sort of sit there behind the counter and, eat licorice, and she would just she would just talk. And I would just sit there and listen to her talk. And, that was an interesting gig. And there were some interesting things that happened to me while I worked there. And I will tell you those stories at some point. But I do remember, especially on Fridays, because I would have been at school all day. And then, get home from school around 3 or 4, and then, putter around all night and then go work the graveyard shift. And I would be so tired that by 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd fall asleep at the counter with my head on the counter. There was a couple times one time in particular where I woke up and there was like a note on the counter with the pile of money. And so it was like, I bought, some milk and peanut butter and a loaf of bread. And they had the exact change laid out there for me. I just slept through the whole thing. We could have just been robbed, taken right to the cleaners. I slept through the entire thing. That happened a couple times. A couple times I woke up and it would be like the milkman or the bread guy doing his deliveries at 5:30 in the morning. He's like, hey, wake up. Sign this, would you? Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks, man. Yeah, I was an exemplary employee, no doubt about it. But, so that time working at the Green Gables there in Moncton, that would have been, in my head, that's where this song takes place. And I can remember looking out the window at 3 o'clock in the morning and watching the snow come down. So, anyway, this song goes out to Jenny O, because this is I was the employee of the month without a doubt. There is no doubt about it, Shelley Liner. But this song goes out to my Jenny O, because this is her favorite song of mine. So. The weatherman says today's the day that we've been waiting for. The year's first snowfall's gonna cover us all like a rug on the floor. People from miles around, they're bundling up tonight. Me, I sit here all alone and wonder where you are tonight. Daisy works at the corner store just up the block. She works a graveyard shift, so some nights I go up there and we talk. She says, man, this job, it's killing me, and someday I think I'll just leave it all. I say, Daisy, I know where you're coming from, and someday Romeo will come along. I picture in my head a sunny day when you were here with me. I hear all those words that I'd long to say if you were only here with me. Take me away, take me away, take me away, take me away. While the snow is falling lightly on this ragged old town. Daisy looks real impressed as we sit and watch the snow come on down. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm sitting here yawning, half asleep. Well, I wonder where you are tonight and why, oh why you're not right here with me. But I picture in my head a sunny day when you were here with me. I hear all those words that I long to say if you were only here with me. If you were only here with me. Yeah, man. The Graveyard Shift. Yeah, I'll always be a fan of that song, man. It kind of takes you. It does take you away. Literally, it takes you away. This next song was written in Nanaimo, out on Vancouver Island, in May of 1996. And like I said, remember I was talking last week how after I finished Northern Town, how I went into about a 9 or 10 month writer's block. And ever since then, I've just refused to believe there's such a thing. So as I've just been on a bit of a writing tear, you know, what it is, I just don't worry about it. I write when I write, and I don't when I don't, and I don't care one way or the other. I mean, I care, but you know what I mean. I don't get too worked up about it. It'll happen when it happens. I've had longer writer blocks or bouts of writer's block, but I just refused to call it that. I just didn't feel like writing. I went from April of 2003 until June of 2004. So, but anyway, this was written in May 1996 out in Nanaimo. We were playing this church that was converted into a bar, and it was owned by the word on the street is that it was owned by the Hells Angels. Now I don't know if that's the case or not, but it was certainly a biker bar, and it was a good gig. We had a lot of fun playing there, and they had this great band house right across the street, and it was a nice place and a nice old home, very well maintained, which was rare for band houses. But this place was great. Washer and dryer on board. What else does a guy need? But the only problem with that gig that I recall was we were called the Mark Pluff Band. That was the only glitch to the whole week. The sign out front was Mark, M-A-R-K, Pluff, P-L-O-U-G-H. Maybe that's plow. I don't even know. But we had we had no shortage of laughs at that. Over the years, I had a lot of funny. Over the years, I did many a gig. We did many a gig where I really questioned why in the holiest hell did we name this the Mike Plume Band? Surely there must have been a better band name than the Mike Plume Band. But yeah, we got Plum a lot, P-L-U-M, P-L-U-M-B, but Pluff, boy, that took the cake. Mark Pluff, P-L-O-U-G-H. One time we were playing at a club called Wilbur's in Cleveland, Ohio, and we were called the Jim Plume Band, which I found quite funny as well. Jim Plume, there I was. Yes. That's kind of like when we did that gig in Birmingham, Alabama, on the Fox TV news thing, where we were called the Dave Plume Band. That was funny too. But anyway, so this next song was written. What's that? Yes. This next song is called "Every Day Is Another Day," and it's just one of those songs. I can remember vividly writing this. I had this almost like a writer's room at this band house. It was up on the top, almost like the Widow's Peak or the Widow's Lookout or whatever those are called. But I remember I would just go up there and work on songs every day. Up there, looking over the water at the very top of the house. I guess, is that called a Widow's Peak? Anyway, but that's where I wrote this, and just trying to write a song to tell myself to keep my chin up. Every day's got another problem a-comin' on the wind. Every day is another day falling, and we do it all again. Every day there's more people calling for the number to come in. Every day is another day, my friend. Well, every time you turn around, there's someone behind you. And every time you hear a siren, you think they're after you. And every time you form an opinion, they pull the rug from you. But every time is another time, my friend. And you can try to build a mountain out of all of the troubles that you've received. And each day when the morning breaks, you pray you got what it takes. You find it all so difficult to believe. Try to build a mountain out of all of the troubles that you've received. And each day when the morning breaks, you pray you got what it takes. You find it all so difficult to believe. Now every time you got it all figured out, life throws you another curve. And every time you scream and shout, hey, is this what I deserve? And every time someone takes his life for less than it is worth, well, everybody is someone, my friend. And every day is another problem coming on the wind. And every day is another day falling, and we do it all again. Every day there's more people calling for the number to come in. 'Cause any day is another day, my friend. Every day is another day, my friend. Warren, are you losing sound? How about anybody else out there? That's my greatest fear doing these live streams, is that we drop. Oh, that just gives me crippling nightmares. Mark Pluff Band. Got to remember that one. That's right, Floyd. I'm telling you, if you ever see a billboard for the Mark Pluff Band, you know who it is. But yeah, is everything okay out there, or is it just Warren and his shoddy internet provider? Thanks. My sound is good. Thanks, Murray. You know what? That's all I care. As long as Murray Pigeon's good, my life is just Jim Dandy. Murray Pigeon. Boy, there's a guy I got to write a story about too. Murray and I, we got some stories. Hey, Murray? Oh, yeah. Good times in Jasper. Fine on the East Coast. That's good. Okay. Now, what do we have next? Wondering Why I'm Here. This is a song that I wrote in February of 1994. So this would have been one of the first 3 or 4 songs I wrote after I came up out of writer's block from May of 93. When I wrote my last song, Good Intentions, paved the road to hell on my 25th birthday, and then I went into that funk for about till January of 94. I would have written this song, like I said, in January of 94. The first song I wrote back out of the gate was a Wandering Blues, and then at that point I kind of kicked the door open and I started writing like a fool in a hurry. And so this is one of those songs called Wondering Why I'm Here. I love road songs. I really do. And like the first road song that I can think of for me, probably would have been Running on Empty, but I don't even know if I realized it was a road song, or On the Road Again by Willie Nelson. But I loved the song Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi when I was a kid. Loved that song. I knew when I heard it, it was a classic. I just had that instantly. You heard that thing. It's like, yeah, that song's going to be around forever. That was probably the first song that I remember thinking, this song will be around for a long time. But I've always just, I love the road, and I love songs about the road and songs, and just I love the exhaustion of the road. I love everything about it. I love the driving through the night. I love pulling over on the side of the highway or in a rest area and just sleeping and waking up with the sun coming up, getting a cup of coffee, and then just keep driving. I love that feeling. I told that story a long time ago about the time that we were driving from San Francisco to Taos, New Mexico, and Evo drove from about 4 p.m. till midnight. I got behind the wheel at midnight and drove and drove and drove. Around 5 o'clock in the morning, we're driving along, and I see a sign that says Grand Canyon this way. And so I thought, oh, shit, we got 2 days before we got to be in Taos. I can do this. So I turned off the highway and drove about 30 miles up the road and pulled into this parking lot, and it was pitch black. I couldn't see anything. And I drove right up to this guardrail, and I sat there, and I thought, I couldn't see it, but I could feel it. I could feel the Grand Canyon there. And we had a little coffee machine in our bus, and I poured a cup of coffee, sat on the hood of the bus with a cigarette, and waited for the sun to come up over the Grand Canyon. And that is something that you just you really don't get that opportunity. If you're on vacation and you're going to go to see the Grand Canyon, you're not going to go at 4 a.m. You're going to go at 4 p.m. But to watch the sun come up over the Grand Canyon was probably one of the top 3 things that I ever experienced on the road. That was just one of those things. So I like songs about the road. And with every there's a price behind everything. And that's kind of what this song is about. Coffee cup this morning don't do much for me, oh no. Conversation just left me feeling low. I know where I am, but then why do I feel so lost? Too busy chasing dreams and forgot all about the cost. Can't get across. Don't know how I ended up on this road I'm on. Started out so innocent before I knew I could be wrong. I was just young and foolish, then again, man, weren't we all? The information was useless, so I left it all in the hall. And I'm wondering why I'm here. I'm wondering reason, but there ain't no answer clear. Just leaves me wondering why I'm here. Wondering why I'm here. I'm wondering why I'm here. Looking at the stranger staring back at me in the mirror. Just leaves me wondering why I'm here. Well, there ain't no point in talking when there's nothing nobody could say. And besides, we said it all before anyway. Well, there ain't no conclusions, just all these intrusions tonight. Even though it's long distance, pardon my insistence, but tell me everything's gonna be alright. And I'm wondering why I'm here. Well, I'm wondering why I'm here. Looking for a reason, but there ain't no answer clear. Just leaves me wondering why I'm here. Leaves me wondering why I'm here. Yeah, I had just started that song when I realized I have a list of the songs on the record here, right off to my left here. And I realized that I forgot a song, and a song that has probably been played as much or more than any other song on this record in shows over the last 23, 24 years. And thank you very much, Jill. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. But this is a song that I wrote, started writing. Actually, I want to go back again, too. There's a couple of other things I wanted to talk about. I screwed up on some dates, and you know me with dates. I like to have my dates together. My timeline needs to be spot on. But so Every Day is Another Day, written in May out there in Vancouver Island in Nanaimo. I said 1996. It was 1995 when I wrote that song. So I do apologize. So you may need to go back through your notes and please make that correction. I would really appreciate it. Anyway, this next song is called Another Train Song. And started writing this song in August of 1995 up in Yellowknife. We had just recorded the bed tracks for the Jump Back Kerouac record, and we went up to the Northwest Territories for 3 weeks. For a 3-week gig at the Generator, I think it was, in Yellowknife. And I was talking about that Yellowknife gig last week, I believe. That's where when we were setting up on the Monday, it was 3 weeks, 6 nights a week, 5 sets a night. Yeah, I probably said that wrong. 3 weeks, 5 sets a night, 6 nights a week. Yeah, so anyway, we were setting up, and somebody had carved into like a wood beam that was on the side of the stage, holding up the place. Somebody had carved into this beam, saying, when you read this, you will have 90 sets to play. And that was just so daunting. But I wrote this song in Yellowknife. And Yellowknife was where obviously, that's where I got the lyric, I've seen the northern lights dancing over Yellowknife while standing in the middle of a field. And I did. The gig, the Generator, was about 5 blocks away from where we were staying, the band house that we were staying at. And can remember walking home one night, and we're walking through like a soccer field or a ball diamond or something like that. Or maybe we were coming back from a party. But I remember walking through this field after the gig on the way back to the band house, and the Northern Lights were right overhead. And I just, it had an effect on me that evening, that watching those Northern Lights as vivid as they were right overhead was powerful. But anyway, I started writing this song, another train song, in August 1995. Wrote the verses pretty quick. Here's another song that I was trying to write. I was trying to write a song like Rachel's song by James McMurtry from the Where'd You Hide the Body album. Must be a cold front coming. I saw the eastbound C&O. The coal cars were dusted with a half-inch of snow. That just painted a picture right out of the gate. So I was trying to write a song like that. Again, missed the net. Hit a dribbler up the third base line, swinging for the fences. But still came out with a cool song. Wrote these verses really quick, but and thought it was done. Then, when we were doing some pre-production for the Song and Dance Man record, I played it for Merrick, and he said, "Man, this song needs a bridge." And I remember at the time he was saying that the song reminded him of a Mark Cohn song, like something off of the Rainy Season album. So we sort of, and I could see that, but we sort of, he said we need a bridge. And so when the time came around where we could jump in on a bridge, he said, go to this chord. And so I went to that chord, and the whole thing was waiting there. The lyrics, the chord progression, everything was waiting there when he said, go to the G, or I think it's the G. Yes. There it was, waiting. It had been waiting for about a year and a half. And again, worth the wait. But anyway, here's the song, another train song. I have the wrong key, don't I? Yes, I do. Boy, that would have been a debacle. How many times am I going to do that? I need a roadie. I need a tech. I need somebody to help me out here. I'm a disaster of a performer. Here we go. I hear the train a-comin', rumbling through my mind. Said I hear the train comin', Lord, it's right on time. I hear the train a-comin', rolling over these lavender streams. Said I hear the train comin', with days of grander dreams, but these grander dreams, well, I fear they're killing me. I fear I've let them go. Said I hear a train coming, won't someone let me know? And when sleep won't come and you're cursing the moon for keeping you awake, where'd that train come from? How did it get into my room? You gotta get on on board, for it's too late. You gotta get on board, for it's too late. That's right. Yeah, won't you take your hand in mine? Won't need no luggage down the line. Now can't you hear that train a-comin'? In the corners of your mind. Yeah, when sleep won't come and you're cursing the moon for keeping you awake. Where that train come from, man, how did it get into my room? You gotta get on board, for it's too late. Said I hear a train a-comin', rolling over these fields of youth. Said I hear a train comin', seeking what is known to be true. Said I hear a train a-comin'. Well, I hear a train a-comin'. Said I hear a train comin'. Well, I hear a train comin'. Another train song, man. Yeah. Fun tune. Always liked that song. That's a good example of a song where I just wrote it and made it rhyme and figured I would come back to it in time. That rhymed in it as well. Thanks for staying up there for this show here, Shelley. I understand exactly how late it is there. What is it? 12:30. So thank you very much for hanging in and hanging on. But yeah, train song. That's just one of those songs. I'm just gonna write these lyrics and I'll come back. I probably won't be recording this tomorrow. It probably won't be releasing this song tomorrow. So I have some time to massage the lyrics, to run some sandpaper over these lyrics, file down the rough edges, and so I just wrote it, and it just made sense. You know, I hear a train a-comin', rolling over those lavender streams. I hear a train a-comin' with days of grander dreams. These grander dreams, I fear they're killing me, because I fear I've let them go. Can't you hear that train a-comin'? Won't someone let me know? And then that bridge that Merrick suggested, when sleep won't come and you're cursing the moon for keeping you awake. Where'd that train come from? How to get into my room? You got to get on board before it's too late. That just fell out of the sky. I wrote it as quick as it took me to speak those lyrics. Had to wait 1.5 years for it, but it was worth the wait. Next song. We have time for a couple more songs here. Not even time for a couple more songs. That's all we have are a couple more songs. And this next song is called We're Still Here. I wrote this song for the guys in the band. I wrote this song for my brother. I wrote this song for Justin Dallaire. I wrote this song for all my pals who were with me, are with me, have been with me through thick and thin, for really no good reason. But I wrote this song for them. And then the time the song had the most impact was on 9/11. We were playing in Bournemouth, England, and this song was in the show. It was one of the encores, and it was one of those gigs. Like, we just showed up. Obviously, you don't know what's going on. We were at the gig when, because it was obviously with the time change and stuff like that. So we show up at the gig, and the club owner's like, "Listen, man, let's just set up. I don't know if anybody's going to come out. I have no idea, but let's just set up anyway." And so we set up. We went back to the hotel, checked in, came back, and walked in. There was nobody there, but we just sort of sat there. September 11th was the 6-month anniversary of me being smoke-free. So to celebrate that impressive anniversary, I started chain smoking on 9/11, and also I had my first pint of Guinness in 3 years. But at about 8:45, the front door opened and people started coming in, and but the place probably held 200 people, but there was probably only 45 people there. And of all the shows I've done in my life, of the 3,000 plus shows, that was the most important show I've ever done. That was the show that I needed, the guys in the band needed, and everybody who showed up that night needed. We all needed that show just to provide just a little bit of distraction. There was still a heaviness throughout the whole show, but we all needed it. And someday I hope to go back to Bournemouth, back to that club. What is the name of the club? I have it written on my wall here. I can't see it. Mr. Smith's in Bournemouth, England. If it is still there, I would like to go do a gig there. But yeah, this song it really worked well in that show and was much needed, and I much appreciated having that song. But anyway. Don't need nothing I wouldn't say. I don't need nothing you wouldn't want anyway. The sun comes up at the break of every day, but we're still here. Yellow moon rising like it always does. I'm sure it was a wise man, but I'm not sure who it was who said, what goes around comes around when it comes to blood. And we're still here. We're still here. Standing tall when all the smoke is cleared. We're still here, baby, we're still here. We're still here, standing tall when all the smoke has cleared. We're still here, baby, we're still here. Wrecks on the highway, that could have been us. Blame it on nothing but blind faith, good luck. When our story's told, not one word will be made up, 'cause we're still here. We're still here, standing tall when all the smoke is cleared. We're still here, baby, we're still here, baby, we're still here, baby, we're still here. Yeah, man. I don't often get overwhelmed while I'm singing a song. Kind of try to focus on the job at hand, but that one I kind of got away from me there, thinking about all the shit that we'd all been through. Wrecks on the highway, that could have been us. Blame it on nothing but blind faith and good luck. And when our story's told, not one word will be made up, because we're still here. Yeah, man. I should almost play it again, because I got completely turned around, and I was worried. I'm like, can they tell that my eyes are leaking? Oh no. But anyway. But to shift gears, we have one last song here, a palate cleanser, you could say. And this song was written. Actually, I'm going to go back just really quick, back to the train song. The recording of that song, I don't know if my old pal Amy Goddamn Hill is tuning in here tonight, but if she is, I have a memory of recording that song where I can remember we were listening back to the playbacks of that song, and walking into the studio, into the control room, and she was sitting there, and I don't remember who was with her. I think Joel Stewart was there as well, and but I just remember them sitting on the couch at the back of the control room listening to that song. That's a powerful memory for me. But anyway, so in 1996, I was hanging out a lot with the guys in Captain Tractor. Chris Winters and Scott Peters, Amy, Jules, the gang, Brock, Jeff, the whole gang. And they wanted to see if we could write some songs. And so we got together to try to write some stuff. And that was the first time I would have done any co-writing. And we bought probably 24 beer and just sat on the porch at their manager's house, and just drank a bunch of beer and really didn't get around to doing anything. But because they were looking for songs for their new album that they were about to start work on, and at that time, the album was called The Big American Headliner, and they didn't have a song called The Big American Headliner, but they had the title, and they got the title. They were booked to play this festival somewhere, and the festival couldn't. They said, "We want you to play this festival. We don't know what kind of money we can pay you because we're still waiting to secure the Big American Headliner." And so they thought that was great, and that's classic Captain Tractor. They would have an ear for the absurdity of that phrase, and so they had that title. And I was bound and determined to write them a song called The Big American Headliner. So I took the title, I took that idea, and then I started rolling back through my head of shows that we had done with big American headliners. And you don't have to be American to be a big American headliner, because once you're a success, once you're a big rock star, you're paid in American currency. And so at that point you are technically the big American headliner. So we did a tour back in 1996, March of 96, where we were touring with the big American headliner from Toronto. And so I took that inspiration, Well, and if you're wondering who the big American headliner was, it was Alana Miles, and she was fine and all that kind of stuff, but she was a rock star, and she was probably a bit disenchanted with the idea that, a couple years before, she had that song Black Velvet, and she was a big rock star, and she was hanging out with Robert Plant, and then 2 years later, she's hanging out with me in some seedy dressing room in Point Roberts, British Columbia. But that was actually Point Roberts, Washington. Actually, it was a stateside gig. Anyway, so I sort of took the inspiration of all that kind of stuff, and we did gigs over the years where the headliner just, wouldn't give us the time of day, let alone a sound check. So I wrote this song about a band who was, had a dream of becoming a rock star. Had dreams of being the big American headliner, had dreams of being on Rolling Stone magazine and on the David Letterman show and on Johnny Carson and Jay Leno and doing guest spots on TV shows and all that kind of stuff. And so I just wrote this song behind the wheel. Tons of internal rhymes. When you get tons of internal rhymes, you don't need an instrument anymore once you have the melody established. That's the way it works for me anyway. So here is the last song of the A Lot of Miles. Yes, indeed. What's funny is a couple years after we did that tour with Alana Miles, she came to one of our gigs in Toronto, and she was just going crazy. She just loved the band. And she says, "We have got to do a tour together sometime." I said, we have. And apparently we made a big impression on her the first time we toured with her. But the second time we really knocked it out of the park. Anyway, so this song, like I said, it was written for the Captain Tractor record, and they ended up changing the album title. I think they went with Celebrity Traffic Jam is what they ended up going with. Years later, they ended up recording the song, but we recorded it first for the Simplify record, and it was the last song on the record. And yeah, it's a fun song. Let me see. Where's my capo? My kingdom for a capo. There's countless versions of this. There's like the punk rock version, which is fun, and the old folky version. And I think I'm going to do the old folky version tonight. Had me a dream, almost obscene. I never had a dream any finer. I had me a taste in the land of waste, and the dream that we chased as we became that big American headliner. Oh yeah, oh. Foaming at the mouth as we up and headed south, south of the parallel 49er. We had us a dream of Rolling Stone magazine, and all the girls would scream when we became that big American headliner. Oh yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, now visions of sold-out shows, candy for your nose in America, anything goes as we were soon to find. It doesn't matter what the place is, 'cause you can act like Oasis, screw till you're blue in the faces when you become a big American headliner. Oh yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, then Leno said he loved our sound as we were the toast of Tinseltown. Everyone and the dog came around to the scene to be seen. We did I guest spot on Friends. I made love to Jennifer Aniston, then we looked towards the mighty end, 'cause the Japanese, they love the big American headliner. Oh yeah, yeah. I woke up in a hotel room in downtown Saskatoon. I gotta leave this afternoon for Regina. Yeah, 'cause there we got us an opening slot. These goddamn gigs never pay a lot. My patience, nerves, and my credit is shot. But tonight we open for They Keep the Door, the big American headliner. Oh yeah, and man, you gotta be on at niner, and then off by 9:30. And we can't use their drum riser, so we drink their fucking rider. Oh yeah, the big American headliner. The big American headliner. Well, gang, thank you very much for tuning in today. This has been a long show. We're pushing 2 hours here, man. That's crazy. But thank you very much for joining me today. We will see you guys, for those of you who are on Instagram, see you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for a cup of mud. See you Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time for Easy Like Sunday Morning. And I'll see you guys here next Wednesday for Song and Dance Man Revisited. Yeah. This was Simplify was the album that sort of kick-started the whole thing. Song and Dance Man, it was where we just blew the roof right off the dump. And Shelly, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week as well. And maybe tune in on Sunday if you get the time and the notion. Matthew, thank you very much. Thanks, guys, so much. So, yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday for Song and Dance Man Revisited. If you get a chance, could you do me one little favor? Could you subscribe to my YouTube page? It'd be nice to get these numbers up a little higher. That way you'll get an email every time I go live. You'll get an email saying, hey, Dumbass has just gone live, so swing on by. I'm not sure it says exactly that, but it's something to that effect. If you subscribe, you will find out exactly what it says. But anyway, thanks very much, guys. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow, Sunday, or next Wednesday. All right? Take care. Done.